Hey, today I'll be talking about episodes 81 through 84 of RuYi's Royal Love. Now that Yanwan is empress in all but name, she decides that she's had enough of her creepy eunuch. She pretends she's come to spring him from jail, but then has her servants strangle him.
我做鬼也不会放过你。
那也得做个有本事的鬼才行。
Yanwan has news spread that the emperor was tricked into love boat shenanigans by the creepy eunuch, and she is not at all to blame. It's all wrapped up in a neat little bow. Hailan is waiting to welcome RuYi back home, but RuYi won't even step out and see her. I get it, I wouldn't want to see anyone right now either. When she returns home, she finds her palace stripped bare and her servants have been taken away as well. RuYi has Rongpei go outside and return the sachet that Hailan gave her way back in episode 10. Hailan's little heart is breaking, but Rongpei clearly doesn't know what else to say, and without another word, the doors to RuYi's palace are locked. Even though RuYi didn't send a message, Hailan assumes that RuYi is doing this to protect her.
姐姐是为我好，她不想连累我。
Hailan's loyalty to RuYi really is incomparable. She's not wrong though, RuYi does want to protect her. The emperor's anger is still going strong, and even Li Yu is removed from his position and sent to work in the summer palace for being too close to RuYi. She doesn't want Hailan and the fifth prince to suffer because of her too.
玉妃娘娘会明白你的心意的，她会的。
I hope fifth prince does know how much RuYi loves him because fifth prince is just so good and yet so alone. Any normal person, I think, would feel bitter and jealous of RuYi and how she's all his mom thinks about. But instead, he's been nothing but gracious and caring to her, his mother, and the 12th prince.
哟，五爷，
些微小事，别让额娘知道了。额娘已经够心烦的了。
He thinks about everyone but himself, and no one ever seems to think about him. I mean, yes, RuYi, but she's so constantly under attack that she never really gets to show it. As the new head of the harem, Yanwan starts hosting her own morning meetings, and it's obvious what kind of people she wants at these meetings. I don't see a single consort of substance here. And of course, never one to take a win graciously, Yanwan loves sending her servants over to bother RuYi. Rongpei fights her with everything she has, but since RuYi is doing nothing but praying all day, there's only so much she can do. RuYi ends up with every servant but 2 taken away. Luckily, through the combined efforts of 5th Prince, 12th Prince, and Consort Rong, Hailan is allowed in to see RuYi. RuYi was pushing Hailan away to protect her, but you know Hailan isn't going anywhere. RuYi finally lets go of the Yuncha incident, and they are sisters once again. Yunjao comes to see Yanwan. I cannot believe that after all of these years being with the 5th Prince, who is the best husband in the world, that she still has the heart to go through with this plan. Okay, let's say even if she was sure that RuYi is guilty, which, may I remind you, she only has Yanwan's word for. Sure, let's say she was 100% sure. Even then, 5th Prince had nothing to do with it. How can she live with this innocent, kind person for so long and still decide to kill him? They try to make her more pitiful as she clearly feels guilty, but the amount of evil it takes to look someone in the eye, knowing that they are innocent, knowing that they love you so much, that they have done so much for you, to look at that person, tell them that you love them while you're killing them is just beyond my comprehension. I have zero sympathy for her. This coming from a sometimes Empress apologist. Zero. Yanwan gives her the final bit of poison. All Yunjia has to do is sprinkle it over his injury and he will surely die. And with that, we cut to 6 months later. The emperor has decided to make 5th Prince his crown prince, which is a real testament to his character since the emperor so wanted his legitimate son to be the next emperor. His father, the previous emperor, started a custom of writing down the crown prince decision and locking it away in a place where no one can get to it. The idea is that if he suddenly dies, no one can make up stories about his last words, they'll just check the box. Yanwan is pregnant again. She has no worries about the 5th Prince becoming the next emperor because she knows that he's going to die. She's sure that Yunjia will deal the killing blow. But at the last minute, it looks like Yunjia has a change of heart. She decides not to go through with it and she doesn't give him the poison. And yet, 5th Prince's condition gets worse and worse. Over the years, Yunjia has been doing things to make him worse, like encouraging cold showers, discouraging him from seeing a doctor. The poison was supposed to deal the final blow, but it seems that even without it, the work she did was plenty. 5th Prince passes out, and once Dr. Zhang is finally allowed to see him, he reports that his sickness is much worse than he was letting on. 5th Prince must have felt that it was getting worse too. When he wakes up to his mother wiping his brow, he asks her to take care of his wives when he's gone.
尽力替我照顾他们。
你别跟额娘说这个。
RuYi's gate is open for the first time in months so she can be allowed to see the 5th Prince one last time. Hailan and the Emperor are already there, and it's looking like he only has a handful of minutes left. Again with this showing me Yunjia feeling guilty. No. On his deathbed, 5th Prince begs for the emperor to forgive RuYi, and then he dies. As soon as he passes, Yunjiao starts her performance. She says Hailan is the one who had Yuncha killed on her own, and RuYi stopped speaking to her because she was so angry. She says that RuYi ordered the 5th Prince to disobey his father's orders, and instead of burying Yuncha in a mass grave, he gave him a personal plot. 5th Prince was tormented by having to follow RuYi in defiance of his father's wishes, and it's this mental anguish that led to his death. Hailan knows her son and knows he would never say anything like this, but Yunjiao can't be questioned any further because she takes poison and kills herself. By the time RuYi arrives, 5th Prince and Yunjiao are long gone. The emperor doesn't even allow her a moment to process this before he starts attacking her.
现在连永琪都被你害了。好啊。
He has clearly accepted everything Yunjiao said as truth. He orders for RuYi to be locked up and has her empress regalia taken away. She doesn't even care though, she just wants to see 5th Prince for the last time.
不许碰他。
Every time I think this can't get any worse, another punch to the gut. It just never ends. Thank God there are some people with sense around the emperor. His main maid Yuhu points out that if Yunjiao was telling the truth, 5th Prince's last words make no sense if he was so ashamed of RuYi for having an affair with Yuncha. The seasoned Empress Dowager also points out some inconsistencies, and eventually the emperor agrees to look into it. When RuYi's mother hears the news, she has what seems to be a heart attack and dies.
死了，那挺好啊。
Just in case you were wondering just how low Yanwan has sunk, she was the one who sent a servant to tell RuYi's mother, knowing that her health was weak.
你伤心，想哭就哭出来吧。
I don't think RuYi has any tears left to cry. The Dream Team, Hailan, Liu, Dr. Zhang, and Rong are also looking into every part of Yunjiao's history and finding some weird discrepancies. Oh, you just know Yuncha would have been right there with them. It's hard to pinpoint a motive for Yunjiao to want to hurt RuYi because Yunjiao changed her last name, so they don't know that she's midwife Tian's daughter. They leave no stone unturned and eventually find out about her rare illness. They then find out that the person giving her medicine for it was a doctor who's close to Yanwan. In Yunjiao's things, they find the remnants of the powder that Yunjiao was supposed to use to kill the 5th Prince. Dr. Zhang confirms that 5th Prince didn't show any signs of poisoning, which makes sense since Yunjiao changed her mind at the last minute. The question is, why does she have it?
他们针对的不只是我，还有勇气，或许还会有勇气。
Dr. Zhang checks on RuYi. She's had a persistent cough for months now, and based on Dr. Zhang's reaction, it's bad.
我还能活多久？
也就3、4个月吧。
She makes him promise not to tell anyone else. Yunjiao is trash. I don't care that she cried. I don't care that she poured that poison out at the end. She faltered at the end because she was weak, not because of love or guilt or any other kind of redeeming emotion. After 5th Prince dies, she ruins things for Hailan and RuYi, which is literally the last thing he would have wanted. If she had truly had a change of heart, in the end she would never have gone through with that final step. Literally, all she had to do was take her poison and be gone. Characters like Yunjiao who pretend at decency really get under my skin. The saddest backstory in the world wouldn't justify what she did, and I can't even believe that she would entertain the idea of reuniting with him in the next life. If they were somehow to reunite, she would be a bug that he accidentally steps on his way to work one day. God, I hate her so much. Anyway, can I just say, I love Rong and RuYi's relationship.
来这宫里的唯一的一点真心，竟也是你给我的。
RuYi was the only one to treat her sincerely, and over the years it's obvious that Rong has really come to respect her. The way she talks about her and to her, not to mention being so willing to help whenever she needs it, it's just gratifying to see that RuYi's integrity does shine bright enough for at least some people to see she's a worthy empress. We already know Yanwan is trash, and I guess as long as you ignore that she has literally no reason to bear a grudge against RuYi, what can you say except that she's trying to secure her future? As long as RuYi is alive, no matter who becomes the next emperor, RuYi will outrank her as the legitimate Empress Dowager. And you know for damn sure that RuYi will never, ever forgive her for the things she's done, and that's not even including 5th Prince since she doesn't know about that yet. So yeah, in a way, Yanwan has no choice but to get rid of RuYi and her supporters. Do you see how I'm even able to rationalize Yanwan's actions? I'm a literal angel. But honestly, Yunjiao, burn in hell. And now for a look at the book. In the novel, RuYi actually does get to meet with the first prince one last time. In fact, she's alone with him as he gives her his last words. He says he knows that RuYi is still hurt about Hailan killing Yuncha under her name and acknowledges that both he and Hailan would be nothing without her. He apologizes for ever suspecting her of not being sincere with him. Yongchi's eyes welled up with tears. I fell to this point because I was too headstrong. I refused to listen to you and use Zhang Yubin to treat my ailment, which is what has left me in my current state so close to death. Not trusting you was my biggest mistake. He admits that in his heart he was competing with 12th Prince because he wanted to be the crown prince, and that he didn't fight as hard as he could have to protect her during this last period of estrangement from the emperor. Having seen so many of his brothers and sisters die, he just could never feel 100% safe in trusting her. He says lately his mind keeps going back to the days when he was growing up in her palace when everything was so peaceful, and then he dies. Okay, I tricked you. RuYi wasn't actually alone. The emperor was eavesdropping at the door. The emperor's figure was rigid as he slowly made his way in. His voice did not have even a trace of warmth. Yongqi's final words. I heard them. He suddenly fixed his eyes on her, raised the open fan in his hand, and slapped her fiercely across the face. This is the last time I hit you. He blames her for the fact that Yongqi wouldn't go and see Dr. Zhang and the fact that he's now dead. This is when Yunjiao comes running in, crying to start her performance. Then she kills herself with the famous head smash. The emperor decides to have RuYi imprisoned and takes away her empress stuff. Not to speak ill of the dead, but it's just so ridiculous because is Dr. Zhang the only doctor in the palace? Even if he's the best, it's not like your only two options were see Dr. Zhang or let your illness kill you. What were you thinking, dude? Till next time, thanks for watching.